guys. Welcome back. My name is Billy Roberts. I'm a concept artist and illustrator. More importantly, I wanted to make this video to talk about the current sentiments around concept art as an industry. The current things that I've been seeing posted online, and just have a general discussion around the industry as a whole. And in the background, I'm showing you guys some of my study sessions that I've done over the last month or two. Obviously only some of them that I recorded, but it's worth showing what I've been doing in my spare time. So to dive straight in, I would like to talk about the situation regarding the AI topic a little bit, and then also talk about general industry habits from concept artists. So first and foremost, this is in response to counter some of the points that are being made by certain individuals online, which I will not name them, but it's an opinion that I have, it's an opinion that they have, and it's a difference of opinion, which I think is worth talking about. So as a whole, the industry, the entertainment industry is comprised of a few things. We have game development, we have graphic novels, we have film, and in between all of that, we have indie, I guess you would say AA and then AAA, and that's really just depicting budget constraints. Now, the main topic today is going to be around the negative sentiment coming from certain individuals regarding the situation. Now, that's why this video that I'm making today is comprised of the visuals that are the job. So the sketches that I'm doing today, the processes that I go through to iterate design, that is the makeup of most of the industry when it comes to a film or game process. To dive into that a little deeper, an art director or a creative director, their job is to be able to go back to the producer or whoever's in charge above them, whatever you want to call it, project manager, producer, and they need to be able to say, yes, this is the correct thing, and they need to be able to agree with each other from art direction to creative direction as the asset that was made is the correct asset. The problem that we have, and I'm going to speak about it quite honestly, is we had a movement around about 3 to 6 years ago, which gave artists more, let's say, social media qualification if they did stuff that was more illustrative. Now that makes sense from a human nature standpoint, where humans love to see work that is emotional or beautiful or polished. It's natural for humans to like that stuff. But the issues that came from that ever-pressing social media standpoint, and at this point I'm considering ArtStation to be a part of social media in a large degree for artists, is that every concept artist that had illustrative work or could perform, they ended up leaning right into it. And they dropped the process, they dropped the iterative skill set, they dropped the ability to communicate narrative design in a way that was done in a day, a way that the art director or the creative director could be happy about the exploration before they signed off on the design that they were essentially being paid to find. And what comes from that is a whole lot of people now going for jobs with a lot of followers and a lot of traction on social media. And the art director, knowing that illustrative work, cleaned up, 4 weeks, 6-week illustrations, is not the job. That is not the part that they need. It's a part, but it's not the entirety of the job. Anyone that's worked in a production setting that can and has had experience with either an art director at a managerial level will understand what I'm saying. So I'm here to tell you guys that is what's happening, and to dismiss certain people's comments that are trying to affect the global picture of an individual problem. You will not get a job in the industry if you cannot show, as a concept artist, your ability to problem solve. You may get an interview if your work is really hyper polished, but you know what the third question will be when you get in that room with that person? Is, these look great, but can you draw? These look great, but can you explore design? These look great, but can you show me some of your sketches? The reason being is because as production cycles become more and more expensive due to the global market change, and more importantly, the global market change is going to be around inflation globally. The precision of hires is going to be more demanding on that art director. So we have to meet the industry halfway as artists. And if I were to speak to the people that are whinging about not getting jobs and not getting hired and all of that, I would employ them to give iterative designing a go for at least a year and show that stuff on their portfolio, and not just one thing. I'm not talking about being an environment artist and then polar opposite being a character artist, but at the very least, if you're an environment artist, you should be learning architectural design, you should be learning prop design, and if you're a character artist, you can be learning props as well. And what that gives you, it gives you a superpower in that meeting room, especially for smaller companies and not just the big AAA guys. That stuff gives you a job. That stuff gives you a job with a smaller team, with a smaller studio, with a smaller budget. So we can't say, hey, the industry is broken because of these reasons. Well, yeah, the global economy isn't perfect. But there's also problems with the portfolio, and not just small ones. They are massive, massive issues. So, bit of a rant on that one, guys. Sorry about that. But I don't want to discredit the up and coming artists that are coming in, I don't want them to be hearing stuff like, well, you're not going to get a job because of AI and all of that, when they're not even showing the work that is needed to be shown to get a job, right? So this has been a global issue for, like I said, 3 to 6 years, depending on how you break it down. But yeah, the job of a concept artist and where the meat and potatoes lie in the industry, it's in design. It's in iterative, fast-paced design at any scale, at any spectrum, and there's a lot of work for that, because that's something that AI, and that's just something that stuff can't do very well, especially being able to follow a language, right? Showing that you can follow languages, design language is what I'm talking about, and also showing that you can follow narrative briefs. That's the biggest issue that I see persistent right now in the industry as a whole amongst artists, is we're not following the things that we need to follow. There's a chain of command, there's a process always in production cycles, and most people are just going, I just want to draw something that gets likes because that is what makes me feel good or validates me as an artist. Well, it does, it feels good, no one's going to deny that, but it doesn't equate to the industry. It doesn't equate to the work. So, bit of a hot topic, guys, but I wanted to openly talk about my thoughts on that topic, what I feel is going on, and what I feel is either correct information that should be absorbed and considered, and incorrect information that should be absorbed and considered. And the video that we have in front of us today is showing you guys that within an hour and a half, you should be able to throw down iterations, different forms, different languages, different products, different subjects, and you should be able to iterate at any level, with any form, with any narrative, and adhere your work to something other than what you want. And at a baseline, that's what CDs and ADs are looking for, because they hold the responsibility of that product being on brief and off brief. And as we get more into this social media, social haven, where people with a large following is the voice of the many, if their voice is wrong, or what they say is incorrect based on their existence as just creating content for social media and not working in the industry, we end up getting a misdiagnostic of the current truth and the current situation that exists for artists. So I know I'm not a large YouTuber or even a large following, but I have friends in the industry that are from both, either extremely experienced individuals that are amazing at what they do in the industry and are highly paid for that, and they pretty much are ghosts behind the scenes on social, on ArtStation, because a lot of their work is either in NDA, or they have so much work going on that they just don't have time for posting on ArtStation. They go from one gig to the next, continuous. So there is work out there for people. At a baseline though, we have to consider the facts. What is the job? What is it that we're getting paid to do? Why are we getting paid to do it? And how can we optimize our attraction for that? And I'm here to tell everyone that is an up-and-comer or even an experienced artist that let's look at it from a realistic perspective, and let's look at it as a competition against our own selves and not a competition against the world. And that would be the most healthy mindset you can have going forward. And ask yourself on a daily basis, what is in my portfolio that a production team needs? If you ask yourself that question, you will find the answers. You don't need to be asking, the top 50 social media driven people, hey, review my portfolio. Just go have a look at what's being made, either in film or in game, and try to find the back end work, not the stuff on their portfolio, not the stuff on their website. That's all being cleaned up by illustrators. Let's find the stuff that gets things to a point where it gets modeled or built in CG. That's where most of the work lays. It's in the iterative, fast-paced design exploration phase. And at this point in the industry, rendering and polish is a given. It's almost like what it used to be is, and what it is still currently, truthfully, is that iterative designing is a given inside of the workplace. And rendering and cleanup is a given also. So it's never been around, can you render or can you make things look good? Or can you design effectively and give me 3 concepts at this, sketch level and colored within the day. That has never been a thing that gives you a job. That's just the given part of the job. Like, that's just, you're a professional artist, therefore you should be able to do that stuff. And I think a lot of people are not understanding that is the situation of the industry. And it is the reality that has existed for 20 years now. So, yeah, it's a big topic, but that is my thoughts on the topic. And if you can look internally first, before you complain, then you optimize your life as an artist. Look in first, then out. Because I'm not dismissing the situation. I'm not dismissing the difficulties with inflation or global economy. I'm not dismissing any of that. All I'm saying is, as an artist, let's look at us first and make the decision there first. And ask ourselves, are we presenting ourselves correctly? Or more specifically, am I presenting myself correctly for the industry that I'm applying to? And I think a lot of people know that they're not, but they can't help but keep making imagery for social media. So then the next question would be to yourself, am I in this industry to get validation? Or am I in this industry to make awesome, new, cool, functional designs for a product that is going to serve the purpose for a team of creatives and developers? So, that is my opinion. That is my thoughts. And I hope there is some takeaways from this with anyone who watches this video. And as always, I want what's best for my viewers, my fellow artists, and I want us to adhere ourselves to a higher standard as an industry, above validation. I remember back in 2012, 2011, validation was the secondary to the ideation, to the idea, to the thinking. And as social media grew, so did the likeliness and willingness to provide imagery to the internet or to other artists that were iterative and thoughtful and interesting and unique and new. And we started seeing more and more things that were pretty and beautiful and generic, that got likes, that got what they wanted as validation. So, all in all, here's my studies. If you want a job, show drawings, show your mind, show your thoughts. And with that being said, happy drawing and happy studies. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. So, thanks for watching, and see you next time. Bye-bye.